Greetings and welcome back to the lab. Today I've got something a little bit different. I've been working on some plans. I got a big project I'm thinking about, but I gotta come up with a little bit more detail before I can make an announcement. But today my neighbor asked me if I wanted this. I thought this was kind of interesting. He said he found it on the side of the road. It's a side view mirror from some car, and it's got a motor in it. And so I'm going to see if I can't extract this motor. And I just thought maybe you might be semi-interested. There we go. We got the wire part way out. I can see, I don't know if that's the end of a bolt there or just some nub. The other thing worth mentioning is that I've just changed out the lighting in here. There's a bit more light because I noticed something interesting when I was doing some editing on another video, is that I had my hand on the table, and as I moved it back and forth, it's like the motion detection in the camera was doing something really funky with it. If you watch some of the earlier videos, you might see that, because I don't think there's any way for me to get rid of it, and I don't want to reshoot those videos, or I can't really reshoot some of it. Now this doesn't really owe me anything, so I'm not trying to be super duper cautious with it. I am slightly concerned about the mirror here. Maybe I should work on getting that off. Okay, that was actually a good idea, because I just spotted, grab a towel to remove that. Get rid of the mirror, because I just spotted a screw right in there, so that helps. And I'm going to try and clean this up. I don't want little shards of glass. That could be a problem. Let's see. I grabbed the wrong screwdrivers. Let's see if this Phillips head does a little bit better for me. I'm just kind of curious to see the inside of a motorized mirror. I mean, I've had motorized mirrors on my car before, but I haven't taken them apart. And I mean, ultimately I'm only thinking about the motor and maybe the gearing assembly. I don't know if it would be useful for something. Yeah, it's not quite the right Phillips head screwdriver. There we go, that's a little better. Wait a minute. Work smarter, not harder. Some of you are probably wondering why I didn't do this to start with. Oop, wrong direction. So, let's see what happens. Now there's a spring right here, so that's kind of interesting. So we got some parts that might be useful for something. There's still a little bit of the mirror there. And now the question is, aha! There are what appears to be some plastic screws or studs of some sort. I don't know what you... Okay, that looks like this is literally just there so it can rotate the mirror. So there were two holding it on. They're not in great shape. Not too worried about that. Honestly, this is probably just junk. So, that's gone. Now what have we got? We've got bumpers for something or other. Gotta wonder if it'd be really cool if this is one of those that actually had a... Oh, okay. Well, a little bit more information right there. I don't know if you can see that next to the white sticker. Let me see if I can get that off. And I will tell you that in some of the other work I have done, I actually work with auto parts in a database, and so I see a part number here, And with that part number, I could actually look this up. And I guess what I'll do here, let me write down what I'm finding. Well, I'll just use this. So this is a Honda. The part number is PA, is that an M or an H? Let me put my glasses on. Reaching over the soldering iron, which I just turned off from another project. PAMX. So we're going to find out what kind of car this goes to. PAMX D5 dash, looks like G4T. Alright, so in editing I'll go ahead and put the model, if it's in that database. This is a major company that sells auto parts to body shops and such. There we go. We've got more. Now that I'm looking at it, I can see the screws that hold the rest of this together. Cool. I'm glad I took off the mirror. So maybe I'll call this an exploration video, or kind of a what's inside. You're kind of curious. So I mean, we already saw the sort of rotational mechanism that allows the mirror to kind of move like that, and I'm sure that it's got to be multi-axis somehow. I don't know how. I mean, if nothing else, you've got something to rotate on, and then you could have little rods that push up and down, but that's not what I'm seeing here. I do see these little rubber bumpers. Alright, we have more hardware for our box full of random hardware. And this appears to be coming up along with the motor. So that's actually the whole motor, and it's got yet another number on it. And for those that are curious, 300810, but I think that's a sub-assembly number. So I don't know that I'm going to come up with much. Is that a year code on here? I don't know. This is just sort of a random video now that I've got certain things set up on my workbench. And there's some wires here. See if I can strip back where to put my snippers. I don't want to snip the whole thing off. I just want to get part of this sheet away. Let's see if I can't. Not a conventional wire stripper kind of situation. We got a couple of blue wires and a yellow wire. I have no idea which one is for what. I'd just be kind of curious to see if the motor's actually still working. Yeah, that's that part of it. Don't know that there's a whole point to any of the rest of it. Now this is interesting. These must be just weatherproofing. Oh, okay. These are just protecting. That's where those studs went in that were holding it on. If I were to use this in another project, I would probably I wouldn't worry so much about this. I'm going to try and put it back on. But I'd probably use the existing 4 holes that are there and just run the screws back through those. So I guess the question now is, if I run a wire to my 12 volt supply, because I'm going to guess that this is a 12 volt situation, and so if I put white wire up in here. Oh, and if you're hearing anything, I got the fan working. That was part of a previous video. I did look into motor controllers, you know. There we go, that's in. And kind of what the deal is with motor controllers. I mean, I understand pulse width modulation versus resistors. I did look at the fan here. It actually has markings on it that say it's a 1.7 watt fan. So that would mean if I was to use any resistor to try and control it, I pretty much need to have about a 2 watt capable resistor to be safe. You know what? I'm going to be safe. I'm going to kind of hose down the workbench here. And now that I look at it, I'm realizing I have wires that would probably be better suited to doing this. So we'll just see if we can't get this thing to run. If I can't get it going reasonably quickly, yeah, I definitely need a better power rail system, but for the moment, this will work. Problem is, once I get the thing connected, it doesn't want to come back off. There we go. Get rid of that. I have these wires, which I just pulled out for a different, actually for putting a switch on the fan. I can literally, if you can hear it, I can turn it off. I'll turn it off for a minute. And we'll see if the audio is any better. That's another thing. As I'm setting all of this up, and if you're thinking about setting up a lab, I'll give you a little bit more of a tour, but basically, and I could already kind of see the reflection. I got a couple of lights up in this direction and a couple of lights up in that direction, which are adding. They're all LED. They're standard light bulbs. Yeah, I'm going to cut that and redo it. And they're all 60 watt equivalent, taking about 10 watts each. So in total right now, I'm consuming about 60 watts to get the equivalent of what's it work out to? 360, is that right? Yeah, about 360 watts of light. Wow, this is fighting me. Don't you hate it when you get that last little bit of insulation that won't come off? There we go. Okay. I'm going to put that up on the 12 volt rail because I'm just guessing. Alright, that's hooked on. Now we can cut this one. Don't like the old corroded wire. This is a wire that came out of a sheath that had the ends exposed for quite a few years. Just sitting waiting for me to use it for something. Actually, if you're old enough to remember telephones, back when we had them mounted on the wall in a kitchen or whatever, just home telephones, not not cell phones, but home phones. Let's see, oh no, I gotta go in that way. Sorry folks, I'm still getting used to my own setup here. So this ground wire then has to be tightened down. Even though the glasses on, I'm blind. Maybe it's no wonder that I'm going to do a bunch of projects involving LEDs. Oh, I'm a klutz, I'm a klutz, I'm a klutz. I'm right-handed, but I've got some nerve damage, so it's a little hard to do some of this sometimes. And I would pull out the... me see if I can't just get lucky on that. There we go. I think we've got a ground wire. We got a ground wire, we got a positive wire. Now we can try stripping these wires and see if we get anywhere. There's that one. Actually, now that I think of it, I'll bet you one of these is like ground and two of them are positive, and maybe if you vary the voltage, or maybe if you reverse the voltage, then it goes in, I mean, it goes in one direction and then you switch polarity and it goes in the other. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. I'm about to try and hook up. I'm going to hook up yellow to yellow here. I'm just going to guess that that's supposed to be positive. Well, let's see what happens when I touch ground. Nothing. Alright, let's switch them. We'll put that there. Yes, it's moving. The motor is still functional. I don't see where it's going though. So interestingly, it looks like the yellow wire is ground. Let me try to go in the other direction now that I've moved it. Yep, I can go the other direction. There's a question of changing polarity. And I can hear it trying to do something, but it's not visibly moving. I wonder if it's supposed to rotate, and that's what I'm not seeing. There is one more wire here. Let me fold this one back, strip this other blue wire. I wish you could sort of hear it, and I don't have another microphone set up. Let me see, is there a way for me to clamp this together? Maybe. Alright. Let's say yellow wire is ground, or we'll put that on there, and we'll try and touch the okay. I can hear it. I don't know if I can make it so you can hear it. I'm looking for movement. Okay. No, I'm not getting anything. I can't see what direction it's moving in. I'm going to try and move the yellow wire to the shorter blue wire. No. And we're going to try the yellow positive on the longer blue wire. I know shorter and longer doesn't really help. Well, I can hear it moving, but I'm not sure what it's actually doing. I don't see any other way to get into it. No, I'm sorry, I don't mean it that way. I don't see any more screws. It does look like there are some clips here, like this little separation right there. I could probably pry that apart and get the thing open, but at this point, I'm not sure I actually want to do that. I know. That's what I'm missing. This was in here. Let's see if we just screw it in part way. Wow. My fingers are not working with me today. Let's see if we can get this to help. I didn't want to go far. I just want enough that maybe it'll be easier to detect when things move. If anybody's watching this and is just curious, okay, the longer blue wire I was talking about was the blue wire with the white stripe or dot on it. There's not much left. There is actually, it looks like the other blue wire also has dots on it. Okay, well that's not... Okay, you know what? One is blue and the other one is closer to... It's sort of a lighter blue, almost green. Let me just bring that up to you so hopefully you can see some of it. We'll give this one more shot here and then we'll give up for this. It's just a part to add to the inventory and maybe someday I'll come up with some use for it. Gotta wonder if maybe the gearing in there is a little messed up. I'm not seeing it move. I'm hoping you can still see it. Let me go with the lighter blue wire. Doesn't look like anything's really happening. So I gotta wonder if when this got all messed up, if the gearing got stripped or something. Oh, you know what? The darker blue that I was talking about has a black stripe on it. The lighter blue does not. Alright, well, I guess that's it for experimenting. I'm going to go ahead and just drive this thing back in a little bit. Who knows? Might want that hardware to go with it. Actually, now that I think of it, what I should do is put that ball back in there. The ball, put the spring. I wonder if that would have anything to do with it. Now it's caught on a spring. Let's just try that one more time. Somebody probably knows what this is all supposed to do. I wish you could hear it. Some of the noises are louder than others, but they're all pretty faint. Well, this may just be damaged. So I think I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it at that. If nothing else, we've got a part number. We can sort of dream as to what this might have been, or what the situation might have been. But obviously the part's no good for putting back on a car. So with that, I hope you learned something. Have a great day.